What do you mean you don't have any other Pokemons? Go look for one. I want to see a manager.
r/EntitledParents. What is up, guys? Mr. Reddit here, back with another episode of Entitled Parents Stories. r/EntitledParents is one of my favorite subreddits, and I really enjoyed making this. Now kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. Today we've got some hilarious Entitled Parents stories that we'll be reading. First we'll be reading, "Don't be rude to the McDonald's cashier if you didn't get the Pokemon Happy Meal toy that you want, because he controls what goes into the box." After that, we'll be looking at Entitled Mom Tries to Ban Me from a Public Library. Then we'll be reading, Entitled Mom Yells at Me for Doing My Job Instead of Playing with Her Kid. And then we'll be finishing up with Entitled Mom Slapped Me and Kicked My Dog. Welcome to our newest subscribers, David, Digital, and Dominica. And if you're new, subscribe for new stories from Reddit every single day. Don't be rude to the McDonald's cashier if you didn't get the Pokemon Happy Meal toy that you want, because he controls what goes into the box. From r/PettyRevenge. Repost from r/PettyRevenge because the original got removed for some reason. I like Pokemon. I also like McDonald's. So, when McDonald's decided to release some legendary Pokemon Happy Meal toys, I was ecstatic. They offered 2 different Pokemon every week, so every Saturday for about a month, I would walk down to my local McDonald's and buy whatever Pokemon figure they had that week. I ended up with Latias, Latios, Groudon, Kyogre, Dialga, and Palkia by the end of the month. Funny thing is, I only originally intended to buy Latias and Palkia because they were my favorite of the selection. I got Latias on day 1, but I spent weeks trying to get a Palkia. I bought the rest of the figures each week as so not to waste a trip. And the employees started to recognize me. This is important. The next week is when my story happens. I walk into McDonald's and get into the queue. Ahead of me, a woman, let's call her Karen. Oh, wait, actually no. Let's not call her Karen. Pokemon has a character called Karen, and she is really sweet and inspirational. Let's call this woman Debbie. Debbie is in a screaming fit at the poor cashier. She's waving an unopened Dialga figure in his face. Apparently, this Dialga is from a previous Happy Meal, and she was trying to get it replaced, which is why she had it before she made her order.
What do you mean you don't have any other Pokemons?
The plural of Pokemon is Pokemon, lady. We only have 2 this week. That one and the blue and white dragon. Latios, I'm assuming.
I don't want this retarded horse or dragon. Get me a pink one.
We don't have...
Yes, you do. I saw a pink one on the TV. So you should have it. I want to see a manager.
Employee says firmly, "Look, ma'am, the manager would only say the same thing I've said. We only have 2 figures this week. The pink one that you're talking about is not here because we haven't ordered it in yet. If you want any of the other figures left over from last week..."
I don't care. Go look for one.
The employee sighs and starts digging around in the basket. His eyes go wide for a moment as he pulls out a Palkia figure, looking as though he didn't expect it to be in the basket. Then he notices me behind Debbie, and his face turns into an uh-oh face. Debbie notices that he's found a Palkia figure.
There! That wasn't so hard, was it?
He sighs and puts it into a Happy Meal box that Debbie ordered. Debbie smiles smugly and goes to sit down at her table. Instead of grabbing the box and returning to her seat, she expects it to be delivered to her. Typical. Employee goes to take my order. "I'm sorry, but that was the only Palkia we have. We haven't actually ordered more yet, so that one must have fallen in there by mistake during delivery." "That's fine. I'll just come in next week." Employee suddenly smiles, as though he's thought of something. "So, you want a chicken nugget Happy Meal?" Employee grabs Debbie's Happy Meal box from the counter and hands it to me. "Whoa, what are you doing?" "I'll just say that you ordered the same thing and that I gave you the wrong box by mistake. So I end up taking my Happy Meal box home and the Palkia figure inside." Edit. Everyone here is rightfully worried about what happened to the employee, so I went back to McDonald's today to find out the aftermath. This is all I remember from a few hours ago when he told me, so the dialogue isn't 100% accurate. Apparently, employee saw that Debbie had a young kid with her, so he fished out a Latias, the most girly, cute Pokemon, from the toy basket and put that in the box instead. After he delivered the box, Debbie immediately snatched the toy out of the box and was about to let loose a screaming session when she saw it wasn't Palkia. Debbie's kid saw the Latias and opened it immediately and looked really happy with it. Debbie's kid. It's so cute. Debbie.
What? This isn't the pink one.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but someone else ordered the same meal and I gave them your box by accident. I tried to find another pink one and that's the closest I could get. Debbie looked like she wanted to huff again, but her kid was happy with the Latias anyway, so Debbie couldn't say anything since she technically got the Pokemon that her daughter wanted. Next up we've got Entitled Mom Tries to Ban Me from a Public Library. For our cast, we've got the Entitled Mom, Entitled Kid, me, Little Sister, and Cool Cousin. So, on to the story. It was the summer of 2016. Me, Little Sister, and Cool Cousin were bored as heck, so we decided to go to the public library. It's not that far. We could reach there in 5 minutes on foot. The library is my favorite place. It had everything. Novels, comics, you name it. But before we read, we need to write our name at a paper. This paper has the record of books that you read. Well, you need a membership card for that. We were reading books. Cousin reading something about science. Sister reading something about space. And me, Harry Potter books. We're reading in a special room. This room is only for the special members, and we had this special membership for 3 months. The room is awesome. Comfortable seats and bunches of board games to play. And then came Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid. Entitled Mom is heading to the special room. I was like, oh God. She had the Karen haircut and it scares me. She gets inside the room and shouted, not so loud.
Get out!
Me, my cousin, and my sister were shocked. Excuse me?
You heard me. Get out!
My cousin was like, why? What did we do?
Just get out, you nerd.
You see, the room is not that big. The seats only fit 4 people, and there is a play area behind the seats where you can play the board games. I said to her, what if we won't? Entitled Mom huffed and headed to the register counter. She was complaining about us to the librarian. Then Entitled Mom and librarian came to us. I've got a complaint from this lady that you were harassing her to not go in, and if she went in, you will beat her up. Is this true? My sister was like, what? No. My cousin said, nope, that's not true at all. She was shouting at us to get out. Entitled Mom, is this true? Entitled Mom in a scared tone.
No, they're lying.
May all of you get out so we can solve this problem? And we did. So, Entitled Mom, what happened? Entitled Mom tells a bunch of BS and says we were threatening her. Okay, what about all of you? What happened? This lady came to the room and shouted at us to get out, and
Mom, can we get in? Yes, let's go.
They get in the room. Librarian didn't do anything. Can you continue? So I told the librarian everything. Okay, I will check the camera first. Entitled Mom smugged at us from the room. I smugged to her too. She doesn't care and let her kid play. After 3 minutes, librarian gets to the room. Ma'am, I will ask you to get out.
What? Why?
What you said was false. I've checked the camera, and what these kids are saying is true.
No, I will not. I've paid dollars for this special membership, and this is how you treat me?
Ma'am, please.
I'll expose this place so nobody will come here again.
Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid get out. Librarian apologizes to us. Me and the others continue to read in the room. Librarian says they both will be banned for 2 months. I still go to the library to this day, and I never see Entitled Mom again. Hopefully you enjoyed this story. Next up we've got Entitled mom yells at me for doing my job instead of playing with her kid. This just happened a few hours ago, and I'm still kind of mad about it. First of all, let me say, forget my place of work, because it's a cesspool for entitled parents and choosing beggars. Second, this woman had to be mentally unstable based on the way she acted. Third, yes, I speak English, so if I mess up, my bad. Alright, so let me set the scene for you. I work at my local town pool as a lifeguard. It's like 7 p.m. on a Thursday, so it's kind of busy, but not as busy as it usually is. It was nearing the end of my 8-hour shift, and I was exhausted. I just wanted to go home. I wasn't in the mood to deal with any of the patrons, let alone deal with this situation. I'm going through rotation, and my next spot is the kiddie pool. We have 3, sometimes 4 spots to rotate through. It's a 15-minute rotation, and the kiddie pool is always my worst nightmare. This boy who looks about 4 starts tossing a ball to me. The entitled mom was on her phone the whole time, not paying attention at all. I didn't mind since most of the parents just hang out and let their kids burn up all their energy. The kid and I keep throwing the ball back and forth until it's time to rotate again. And this is where it hits the fan. The kid starts crying, and I'm just like, oh no. So I start talking to the kid to try and calm him down, and it seemed to work. That's when entitled mom approaches me, looking mildly annoyed.
Excuse me, lifeguard. Why was my son crying? Is he hurt?
I start laughing because it's kind of a funny situation. No, ma'am. Your son and I here were tossing a ball back and forth, and he didn't want me to leave.
Well, where are you going? Can't you just keep playing with entitled kid?
I have to rotate to the next spot.
I don't care. My son is more important.
I stood there dumbfounded. My coworker was standing there waiting for me to rotate. The staff was getting slightly annoyed, and I didn't know what to say, so I just start walking to rotate the other lifeguard out. This woman follows me to my next spot, which conveniently is directly in front of the guard office where my supervisor is.
Excuse me? Where do you think you're going? My son wants to play.
Ma'am, I have to do my job. I'm sure the other lifeguard will be willing to play with your son, but please let me do my job.
You are so disrespectful. You need to learn how to speak to adults. I am your superior. Get down from that chair and go play with my son, or I will get you fired.
At this point, I was not having it. Not proud of myself for losing my cool for a split second, but oh well. Not to be rude, but how can I respect you when you're acting like a complete lunatic? You're not allowing me to do my job and causing a scene. You're being absolutely ridiculous. Please leave me alone so I can do my job.
I can get you fired. Fired!
Yes, she said it as if I was slow and couldn't understand what she was talking about.
Get me your supervisor, now!
That got my supervisor's attention. Ma'am, is there a problem here?
Yes, your staff is rude. I would like to file a complaint.
Okay, I can file a report for you. Would you please come into my office with me?
At least someone in this facility isn't retarded.
A few minutes later, all I can hear is the woman going absolutely mental on my supervisor. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but this lady slapped him across the face. She and her son were immediately kicked out of the facility and asked not to come back. I asked my supervisor what happened, and he said he tried to defend me because she was acting insane and didn't want to file a complaint over a stupid reason. I told him I appreciated him for standing up for me, and I felt really bad he got slapped for no reason. So yeah, moral of the story is, if you don't want to get slapped, my advice is don't argue with entitled parents. And our final story of the day, entitled Mom Slapped Me and Kicked My Dog. A year or so ago, I had an encounter with an entitled mom. I was walking my dog, Hades, black German Shepherd, and sometimes people get scared of him, so I'm understanding about it. He is a big dog. So right now I'm studying veterinary medicine. My uni is outside the town on a hill, and there are basically all kinds of critters around. We have a little fenced area where the uni lets the dogs used for classes run free and play when the weather allows it. Students are allowed to use it too. There is some very old equipment for dog training. I decided to take Hades there. As a rule, only vet and zoology students are allowed there without a dog, so I took him there to run the course a few times. Then, out of nowhere, a woman that didn't look like a uni student or a teacher came to ask me to leave because I was scaring her kid. They had no pet with them. Hades was the only dog there. I know all of the vet and zoology teachers, but didn't recognize her, which meant the rule applied for her. She shouldn't be there, and certainly the kid around 7 to 8 wasn't allowed there. The kid ran to Hades and started pulling on his ears. Now, Hades knows what kids are like. I have a little cousin. I've trained him to just wait for me to stop them or try to back off. Since he was on a leash, the back off option was not going to happen, so he just looked my way and waited. I stopped the kid and showed him how to pet. I didn't touch him, and the mother transformed into a demon.
How dare you touch my son, you creep,
etc. Hades doesn't like when someone is yelling at me. He is a breed that guards. I know he is not going to attack, but he growls. So when the mother started yelling and flailing her arms around, he started growling at her. That made her even angrier. The kid had gone off to play on the hoops for the dogs. I tried to calm her down, and then she slapped me. Now, I'm a good boy. My mama taught me manners. I'm not going to slap the woman back, let alone in front of her kid. I yelled for the uni's security. Hades was still growling. She tried to slap me again, which I dodged this time, and deciding that apparently slapping me won't work, she kicked Hades. This woman kicked my dog. Security, an old grandpa, came and she attacked him. I knew him. He was the sweetest old man. I saw red. I grabbed the woman and did like a hug from behind thing just so she wouldn't be able to move. The kid was crying. The guard was on the ground. The students from the university had heard the noise and came to see and called the police. She tried to frame me by saying that my dog was threatening her son and that he should be put down and that I hit her and touched her son. Now, I'm part of the student council. People know me. The teachers know me. I'm not a violent guy. Police were skeptical. I had a handprint on my cheek. Let's just say she is in a lot of trouble. She shouldn't have been there in the first place. She assaulted me and my dog plus the guard. I pressed charges for the kick. I wouldn't if it was just the slap, but she kicked my dog. The nerve of some people. Bonus story. You stuck around for the whole video, so now you get a bonus story. Let's read. No, I can't open my store early for you. I work at a pizza place that does sandwiches and other things as well. We also cater and can defer orders for a different day. Before I begin, let me introduce you to the cast. We've got me, the entitled mom, the manager, and assistant manager. One day we get a phone call and the woman wants to place an order for Sunday. Okay, easy. The conversation went something like this. Thank you for calling. Will this be for pickup or delivery?
I'd like to place a pickup order for Sunday.
Sure. What can I get for you? Entitled mom orders a couple of sandwiches. All right. What time do you want to pick it up?
What time do you guys open?
We open at 11, ma'am.
I want to pick it up at 11.
The earliest we can do is 11:15, since we have to make the sandwiches.
Can't the prep guys just make it, and I can pick it up at 11?
Our prep guys come in the same time as everyone else, since we tend to not be super busy the first hour of opening.
Well, can't you open the store like a half hour early? I have to be on the road by 11:15 for my daughter's birthday.
I'm sorry? Entitled mom, now yelling at me.
Just open the store early. It's my daughter's birthday.
Let me see what I can do for you. Could you please hold for just 1 second?
Fine.
I put her on hold and proceed to ask assistant manager if there was anything we could do for her. Tell her the earliest we can do is 11:15. I already did. What was in the order? Was it a catering tray? It was a couple of sandwiches. He shrugs. There's nothing we can do for her then. So I walk back to the phone and let her know that we definitely can't open our store a half hour early and remind her that the earliest we can do is 11:15. She went off. I don't remember exactly what she said, but there was definitely a lot of cursing and yelling. Then she just hung up on me. I look at my assistant manager, stunned. She hung up on me. He and I laughed about it and just moved on with our day. The next day, we tell our manager. What was in the order? A few sandwiches. Manager laughs. Maybe if it was catering we could have done it, but a few sandwiches? No way. That's what I was saying, and he agreed. Needless to say, we all had a good laugh, and I had a funny story to tell. That's all for now, but don't be blue. I'll be back soon with more stories for you. Remember to listen to Mr. Reddit every night, so your dreams will be wonderful like you are and bright.